Good evening, guys, and welcome back to some Minecraft ASMR. Today, we're going to continue our work in the Nether, just digging out these areas on the outskirts of our base. And if you remember last time, we were trying to dig out everything in these upper bedrock areas, trying to make sure we don't miss anything. And there are a few good reasons for that, but mostly it's for aesthetics. I just think it's going to look a lot better as an end product. We dig all the netherrack out of it first. It does like to hide up in there though. Easy to miss a block here and there. This guy. And then these, which you can't see unless you slide to the side. Yeah, the other reason behind it, of course, is that netherrack is a finite material, as we have mentioned before. It's not something you can generate infinitely in any part of the Minecraft world, and as such, I am trying to grab all of it that I can, at least in the sense of going ahead and picking up the stuff that I'm breaking and removing. Since I'm here already, I might as well just go ahead and grab it while it's accessible. Which, once I'm done with this project, it will be, I guess, technically still accessible if I leave it up in the bedrock. But considerably more difficult to get to, which I figure I might just grab it now. So, yeah. And like I said, primarily aesthetic though. I feel like the look of the base kind of anchored into the bedrock ceiling is going to look so much cooler than anchored into another rack ceiling. Yeah, that's kind of the reasoning. Because of the way we're doing this, the this particular part of the project is really going to take the most time and effort. Um, digging stuff out of bedrock formations, as you know, is time consuming. And once we're done with that portion of it, we'll just be going through it almost at a run, just like this, essentially. And it'll be considerably faster. We'll also have to probably crouch and make sure that we don't fall through any holes or anything. Yeah, not a big deal. And see, sometimes we miss stuff too, and stuff likes to hide up there. So one of the other things I was thinking about doing in the base is actually adding a beacon to it on the very bottom level, so it projects the effects all the way up through the entirety of the base. And I was planning on doing it like kind of tiered. Tiered is the right word. So for a beacon, you have to have a solid base, at least one level thick, which would be a 3 wide by 3 long by 1 block high formation of all the same uh, precious metal block. And I use that term loosely because iron is included in that, which isn't exactly a precious metal uh, as we know it. But Minecraft counts it for purposes of beacons, and thankfully it does, because it's easy to get hold of. And so typically, for a full power beacon, you need 4 levels. You have the beacon, and the next level is the 3x3, and then after that's a 5x5, then a 7x7, and then a 9x9. And then that's your whole beacon structure. And to have another beacon, you'd need a whole other platform. But if you use the same material, the game code doesn't care if you've added additional structure to it, as long as that structure is there. So you can basically widen the platform. So instead of a 3x3 at the top, you'd have you'd do a 4x3. Yeah, and then build the pyramid down from there. And that would give you access to 2 beacons using the same pyramid structure. My plan is actually to make a 5x5 as the top layer and build down from there, so that I can have 4 beacons active at the same time off of that one pyramid structure. And the lights will shine up through the ladder, well, that we have there in the center. And if I've done my job well, clearing out the bedrock above the ladders, the beams will just go straight through the bedrock, because the game actually considers them transparent blocks. You didn't know that, which is why mobs can't spawn in them. And then we'll just have beacon effects running for the base. Now I debated a little bit which ones I wanted to do. Haste is the typical option, but here in the Nether, there's not really much that you would mine that isn't already instantly mined by the pickaxes I'm using. So, I figured I wouldn't waste the resources to activate haste, and instead I'd do the strength boost, the defense boost, and probably the speed boost, and then the last one would be the regen. Get as high level on that as I can. And it would have like a smaller secondary effect, which I guess I could do the haste for that if I wanted to, or maybe like a... I'm hesitant to do the jump boost because I don't want to accidentally jump over factory links and then like straight into a lava lake or anything. That would not be ideal, even though we do have the potion of fire resistance to recover from that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not sure what that minor boost would be. That's something to look at. But yeah, this project has kind of taken a seat of greater importance since I've been working more on it. Particularly because I accidentally messed up the iron farm while working on this project. And finishing this project is really the only way to fix it. So, the way I have the iron farm set up right now, and what was before, is it's 4 chambers with, I think it's 8 villagers per chamber, with beds and workstations for each one. And they kind of hang out in the chambers and chat with each other. So they'll sleep, they'll work, and then they'll talk, and occasionally they'll be like, hey, I think we need a golem, and if enough people agree, it'll spawn a golem. But the game looks for a valid spawning space within like a certain range of the village. Centered on like the actual center of all of the beds in the arrangement. But it extends out past where the pods are that the villagers are at. And then the space that I had them spawning in before is actually relatively small. It's like a 4x4 platforms, and then a 4x4 lava pit, which they can't spawn in because it doesn't see lava as a valid spawning space, which makes sense. That wouldn't be a valid spawning space. So, how I made sure that they continued to spawn in that area was by essentially invalidating all the spawning spaces within that area except for those spaces. So for instance, the base's floors, like the walls, they can't spawn in because it's a stack of solid blocks. And they need a certain number of air blocks to spawn. and the floors are all either half slabs, or if they are full blocks, they have walls on top of them, which invalidates them for allowing iron golem spawns. And I did have it where the netherrack walls were just outside the railings, and stacks of full blocks with no air blocks. I prevented the iron golems from spawning out there. Well, because the Wither Rose farm is plowed, I've been doing some mining up closer to the base off camera to kind of help speed clearing this area out. Like doing the sections that you don't want to listen to me do and are not conducive to ASMR because of volume issues. And removing all of those solid blocks allowed some of the iron ones to spawn outside of the farm, which is not what I wanted. So right now there's a couple of them roaming around outside the farm, killing zombie piglins, excuse me, as they see them, which has been an interesting new source of gold and all of that, the way it's designed to work. So once we finish this project, having the extra air blocks there won't matter because there won't be any solid blocks for them to spawn on. So the issue fixes itself, but only once I get it down far enough to do so. So yeah, working on this project and getting it down to a level where the iron golems are no longer spawning outside the farm. That's of primary importance. Yeah, so right now, I don't really have iron coming in, unfortunately. But I do have enough saved up that I don't think that's going to be an issue. That said, however, it is such a situation I need to fix. Or too much time has passed. Because I do need to eventually have iron coming in again. So yes, this project has officially taken a front seat as far as Nether development goes. And even some of the other dimensions, frankly, because it is the only active iron farm I have in the whole game world. Not just this dimension, so it's pretty important to make sure that gets running again soon. But, you know, especially for the Nether, it is a huge advantage on building and making tools and all of that. So we have that iron farm. And even the beacon thing that I was talking about earlier simply would not be possible without the iron to accomplish it. I mean, I guess I could do gold, but this project is also required for that level of gold to be realistic. So the project's still pretty important. I don't know if I told you guys already in the last video, but if I did, I'll tell you again. Um, Obviously, this project is kind of the result of some changes to how we have the base structured and the way the farms were set up. So we switched from a faulty image gold farm situation to um, a wither rose damaged farm and split up the guest here and zombie piglin farms to be independent of each other. Now they're still occupying the same like spawn area, so if I AFK at one, I'm basically AFKing at both, if that makes sense. And there's not a way to turn either one on or off, at least not at the moment. Which is actually fine. Is kind of the reason for this project. So originally, they were both part of the same farm, which did not work super great and was kind of clunky. So I did some testing and set up a new version of the guest tier farm, which consequently also will spawn magma cubes, and set it up with a wither rose killing system that works perfectly fine in the spawning area as well. So like there's not like a drop or anything. It's literally all just one space. It has the spawning area and the wither roses along the edge to kill everything that spawns in it. And hoppers run below it all because it's a soul sand platform. So no need for hopper minecarts. You can literally just use hoppers and then pull stuff right through the floor. And yeah, it works really well. In theory, so now it's really just getting the rates up. Like I said, I've tested it on a test world where the thing was spawning, basically. Nowhere else for things to spawn. And the gas tier farm rates are acceptable, because I don't really need a ton of that all the time. And the zombie piglin farm rates are also right where I would need them to be. I don't need any like 24,000 golden nuggets an hour or anything like that. It's just too much. Then you have to build in overflow systems and all kinds of crazy stuff to stop the farms from lagging out your games. And like, that's just too much. Just gonna take what I need and be happy with that. So a little bit more minimalist than what you typically see, but that's okay. So the zombie piglin farm is also been redesigned. It is a spawning space with turtle eggs in one corner, which draws the zombie piglins over to that corner. There's an iron golem there that will hit them as they get close, but they can't reach it. And that interaction basically makes the game count that as like being hit by a player, even though it wasn't. And so they'll spawn there they'll do their rare drops, actual full gold ingots and gold swords, and also XP, so I can just kind of stand there and get XP. And then they'll fall into, after they get hit by the iron golem, they fall into a little space, and there's a wither rose down at the bottom of it. And they just land on that, and there's nowhere for them to go. So they just sit there and take damage until they are no more. At which point they drop their loot onto the soul sand floor of that space where the wither rose is planted, and Hop picks it up. That's a pretty cool system. And really the only issue, again, is the rates, which is why we're doing this project. And I know it's ironic because technically at the moment we're creating more spawning spaces. In the long run, we are removing all of these spawning spaces, and that will leave the farms as really the only places for them to spawn, which is exactly what we want. And that should get the rates high enough for those farms to be actually useful. And they do take up considerably less space than they did before, which is always handy, especially when you're building by hand. Every inch of your usable space, because the Nether's hostile and you can't just plop things down on the ground, expect them to continue to be there and function properly. So yeah, even though this project is maybe not the most intellectually stimulating, it is actually really important for the future of the Nether and the future of the whole Minecraft world. The space saved with the new farm designs actually gave me room to set up a turtle, which I am still waiting on eggs to hatch for that. As I mentioned in the previous video, the way the eggs work is they have a higher chance to crack and eventually hatch during the night. But since there is no day-night cycle officially in the Nether, like villagers will still like sleep and wake up. So in that sense, there's a day-night cycle. But as far as the turtle eggs are concerned, there's never really a quote-unquote night for them to speed up their process during. So they just take an absurdly long time to hatch. Honestly, that's okay, because the products they produce are not insanely useful in the Nether. It's just really funny that you're able to produce them in the Nether, even though it seems like you shouldn't be able to. And specifically, I'm thinking of seagrass. Like, you wouldn't think seagrass could possibly be farmed in the Nether because of the, no water thing. But it turns out you can, from turtles. And then the only place the seagrass is useful is in breeding more turtles. So, a little bit of a catch-22 there. But we also get the scutes out of the turtles, which are useful for potions and for making helmets. Albeit helmets that are not super useful in the Nether, again. because they do with like advantages in the water. It's not really a thing you have to worry about so much in the Nether. Alright. Yeah. So it's hard to get to. Um, so those are the farms that basically replaced the old zombie piglet farm, and there is still room to set up additional uh, things in the now free space. Some of the end of the drop chamber and some of the drop tube are still in place from the old farm. It's just a question of ripping those out and putting in something new. Oh, and the Wither Rose farm, obviously. The room it occupies was originally the spawning floor for the OG zombie piglin world farm. And it is now Wither Rose farm. So, or once there was 4, there's 1 farm, there are now 4. The 1 farm did do 2 things. So I guess basically net gain of 2 unique farms. But that's good. Villager breeding has also been going pretty well. Believe it or not, we have actually managed to get 6 of the 8 Mason villagers that we needed with the different colored terracotta trades. Which is awesome. Means we're only missing 4 colors of terracotta that we can now get natively in the Nether in infinite supplies. I don't know that I'm going to use much of that, but it's nice to know that I have access to it and can get it at any point if I want. Especially since it allows for retheming a lot of what we're doing to more feathery colors. We also now have access to infinite amounts of brick, so we can make brick blocks and polished granite and diorite. I still don't have a polished andesite mason, and I'm hoping one of the last 2 terracotta trade people will provide that also. And if not, I guess we'll have to keep going until we get someone that does. And that, the insane odds on that. Having an andesite trade and then the same 2 colors of terracottas. One of the other masons. It's highly unlikely, but we'll just keep breathing until we get what we need. The reality is we just don't have a lot of space to waste for unnecessary villagers. We do have a piglin bartering system set up. It's automatic as long as we can feed gold into it quickly enough. I should probably put some item sorters on that, but right now everything just, each piglin has their own double chest that everything collects in. and I haven't had enough gold to run more than one at a time, so it hasn't really been an issue so far. Although I've got some good stuff from that. Mostly obsidian has been useful for making portals and setting up the wither rice farm. I used a little bit of obsidian for blast resistance purposes in some of the areas closer to the wither, where more fragile blocks might have gotten broken on accident. Um, I could set it up to where I have a Fletcher with all of the different tipped arrows. I don't think I need that though, since I can make most of the potions natively in the Nether. There are a couple that I think it would be beneficial to have the tipped arrows for, just so I have access to those potion effects natively, even if I can't brew the actual potions. Um, Namely the potion of harmony, I think. I don't know, there's one that uses a brown mushroom, a fermented spider eye, basically, which requires spider eyes as an ingredient, which, so far as I know, you can't source natively in another. Such, can't really natively brew those potions without importing spider eyes from the overworld. But that doesn't mean I can't get access to the potion effects. By getting the tipped arrows in trade from a villager. So stuff like that would be useful to have those tipped arrow varieties, but the ones that I can just make myself, I don't need trades for those, obviously. So I shouldn't need a ton of Fletchers. The thing that is going to take up the most space is the librarians. It's always the librarians. There's so many enchanted books to make sure you have access to. I think the last time I figured it, you need like 21 if you're going to do one unique enchantment per villager. Probably the only realistic way to do it. Otherwise, you'll be collecting, just breeding villagers forever in order to get the right combinations and ones that you're missing. Running into a bit of that with the masons right now, and they don't even have as many options that are possible. So you can imagine with all the variety of enchantments, how much longer that might take to try to accomplish. So I'm going to give some extra room for them. Some of their initial trade things are a little more difficult as well. I'm going to have to sell to other villagers and do their um, buy options primarily to level them up because we can't get access to paper natively in the Nether by any means that I know of. It's funny, we can get maps, we can get books, but yeah, paper, not so much. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But you can buy bookshelves from them pretty early on, and that's going to be the main way that we level them up. And then you can also sell books back to them, so you can break the bookshelves and get the books, and then sell the books to them. So we'll also do a bit of that. Okay, unusual, but okay. So yeah, I'd say the Nether is progressing quite nicely. It is by far the most developed of the 3 dimensions. Um, Overall, I've done lots of work, but it's still very much a work in progress. It doesn't have the auto farms and everything set up like we do here. And the end, I pretty much just taken care of the dragon one time, and that's as much as we've done with the end. So, yeah, still plenty to do in the end. Lots of things that I would love to do in the end. But ideas I've had that I'm going to try out and see if they're actually viable. But that's down the road for sure. A lot of the projects we want to do there involve doing this kind of stuff first and really establishing the resource bases needed to do the stuff there. So there's a lot of things that I need to set up. Guardian farm in the overworld is going to be absolutely necessary for the glow lanterns and sea lanterns. Sea lanterns? Um, I might even need to set up a witch farm to get copious amounts of glowstone. So another rack up in there. That's pretty deep up in there. Wasn't sure I'd be able to get to it like that. There we go. Good. So I'm going to try to hide up those little bits here. Sometimes it takes a couple pauses, but I always find them. There we go. But yeah, so this is really the big project right now. And like I said, this is the hardest part, is working on the netherrack ceiling, digging all the netherrack out of the bedrock, being the most time-consuming portion of that part of it. So the project's a lot of upfront investment, it seems like, as far as time, and it gets easier and faster as we go, because we're going to hit a lot more voids, and we won't be digging through the depths in the bedrock. We'll just be quickly mining out netherrack formations, and maybe some gravel, some soul sand, any things that are very fast and easy to remove. So yeah, I expect the progress to speed once we're done with this portion of it, considerably. I can't see any particular reason why that wouldn't hold true. So and there's part of me that's hoping that I will, as part of this process, load additional chunks and discover some of the more useful nether biomes, like the crimson forest or oak forest, so I can get some of those resources. But I have a feeling I generated most of these chunks prior to that particular update, and thus I will have to do some nether exploration in order to find those resources, and then I can bring them back and farm them as needed. But yeah, finding them initially is really the challenge. Get up this netherrack next to get in these little corners and stuff. And it does take a minute to dig it all out. Also, super fun thing that will start happening once we go down another 2 or 3 blocks is we'll start getting ghast spawns in this open area. They won't be able to fly up and down, and because of the squeeze, they won't, their side movement will be limited, so they'll be easy enough to take out. And that's something I ran into when I was digging out the space for the base originally. They will just pop up right next to you, pretty much. Start shooting fireballs. And it's very disconcerting. Even though they're easy to deal with, just having that spawn right next to you, it's crazy. Uh, that's something I typically recommend to anyone. we're getting there. Doesn't seem like we're making much progress, but each loop closer to the base, we have to take out less and less material, which means even once we're like halfway there, we're more than halfway there. And as I said, off camera, I've been mining closer to the base so that when we do these videos, you guys don't have to hear the really gross farming action. There we go. Took a minute. How we got there. Because yeah, that farm is super loud. And for some reason, it doesn't matter which volume slider you turn down, the wither is crazy loud, except for the master volume, obviously. Um, I don't know why that is. I would expect it to be under hostile mobs, but it's not. It's not environmental or anything like that. It's really just super loud and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, it limits our options living up in that area. Unless I'm willing to turn to the master volume, which sort of defeats the purpose of these videos because the block sounds are the reason we're here. Delicious, delicious ASMR stimulating block sounds. And always also my smooth, soothing voice, which seems to be failing me a little bit tonight. Sorry about that. Let's just how this ASMR thing goes, though. I've heard a lot of the YouTube ASMR artists say that the self-speaking and the whispering for long periods is pretty hard on their vocal cords, and like I'm kind of starting to get it. Um, Definitely not a complaint because I really enjoy this. But yeah, it does seem to put some strain on the voice, and I found that interesting. Like you wouldn't think whispering would be that hard um, on your voice and stuff, but it really is. It's kind of crazy. Right. So like, see, this is one of the voids I was talking about that will appear more and more as we go. These are all blocks that we don't have to mine up because they aren't there. Just makes the whole process go faster. assuming it didn't create some sort of additional obstacle for you, which in this case it doesn't seem like it did. And if it does, it's pretty easy fix for this one. You just sort of take yourself a little staircase back up. Like on that side, if I was going in this direction, I have to do that. Get back up this way. So yeah, pretty easy. Not too challenging for sure. Just trying to make sure I got everything. This. I did that. I think I did. Looks like I did. Great. Carry on. Imagine my inventory is probably almost full. Well, getting there, but not quite. Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta slide to the side there in order to see above some of the bedrock that's directly in the path. So things like that you'd never be able to see from over here. Some piglins interested in what I'm doing apparently. But I've got my little boots on, so it's really who knew that a sense of fashion would be a defense mechanism. Oops. So I'm doing myself hurt. For those signs cues around the base. More frequently now with the iron golems are coming out. These going up on the back there. Actually, a couple of those along this line. Um, and then the other three sides don't really have anything like that. At least not this far out. Which is actually kind of nice, because it's important to make sure you don't just drop off into a void, and I don't think any of these gaps do. But they will eventually as we go down. Having to worry about that is nice. Although I guess typically you should always be a little concerned about that, since you don't really know for certain if as you mine these blocks, there's not just a sudden drop into the lava core. Oop, you just don't know if they're there to be back up. Maybe no time. Those are gonna pay attention. Ah, let's see. Those are paying attention. That makes sense. Which is not ideal. And now there's not really an easy way out, but never mind. I'll take it back. Go pick up those blocks. Yeah, looks like it. Like I said, it was tricky to get in there. That's what I'm saying. Well, it's important to grab these things now because it's going to be next to impossible once the floor is like 6, 10 blocks away or more. It's nearly impossible. Fire burning somewhere. Alright, looks like we're almost full up here. Let's finish off the stack. And then we'll probably cover the camping at that point. But this shouldn't hurt to drop down. So, well, technically there's enough room here for gas to spawn. If I wanted to. seems like we are full of. So, I'll head back to the base. But thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to doing more of this with you sometime here soon. So, you guys have a good evening. Hopefully, you are very relaxed, maybe even asleep at this point. Yeah, it's been a good time. So remember, house the cats. I guess.